So let's get into what I sent over to you, and that comes the way of Ecstasies. Now, Ecstasies, if you don't know who he is a massive YouTuber, and he is from Spain, and he has really, really good connections. And so you say, how good? Very good. And I don't know who his connections are, but I know that they have to be high up, simply because he gets a lot of stuff and he gets it right. So what happened yesterday evening on one of his first tweets, and again, this is a rumor, folks, so please take it with a grain of salt, is that there is in fact going to be a developer direct in January. Now, this I can corroborate because I heard this last week. See, Money, you remember we were talking about it. I said, I'm not going to say anything. And I asked you not to say anything. And I spoke to somebody else. And I heard, what the exact words were, look to the third week of January. And that is all I got. I got no games. I had no idea what was happening. My assumption would have been Avowed and South of Midnight, because South of Midnight is rumored to be releasing in March. And of course, we know that Avowed is coming out in February. So that was my assumption. I had zero idea that Doom the Dark Ages was going to be there with actual lengthy gameplay. And that is, of course, coming from Ecstasies. And I got the tweet in front of me. It says, confirmation is expected to come with a new trailer during Xbox's Developer Direct in the second half of January. And of course, courtesy of Ecstasies. But that is not, see, Money, the only thing that Ecstasies broke yesterday. After that tweet, he then came back hours later and put it out there. And again, it's a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. And my nerdness is getting goosebumps here, folks. Apparently, Oblivion Remake is going to be one of the games that they're showing off. And it's not just a remaster. Apparently, and according to Ecstasies, this is a full-on Unreal Engine 5 remake of Oblivion, one of my absolute favorite RPGs of all time. Now, again, I don't know if it's going to be a multi-plat. Remember, Oblivion was available on the PlayStation 3 pretty much everywhere, so it makes sense, especially if it's a remake and they're trying to obviously get it out to everyone to make maximum money. Maybe it goes everywhere. But let's not focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that, hold on, we know that Elder Scrolls 6 is in production right now. And what you're telling me is next year, see, Money, Xbox gamers who subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate are going to get Avowed. You're going to get Oblivion Remake. You're going to get The Outer Worlds 2, and you're going to get Fable. 4 redonkulous size RPGs in our service for the price of $20 a month, on top of South of Midnight, on top of potentially Clockwork Revolution, on top of Call of Duty. Are you freaking serious? And that's not even counting all of the second, third-party deals that they have and the indie stuff. And we know that they're opening the year with 2 massive third-party drops into Game Pass. Bro, how is Xbox dying? Take it away, man.
It's stupidity. First of all, just to be clear, I'll repeat it. But Oblivion was leaked by that one
court case
from Bethesda. Yeah, so Bethesda's list of games they're making, Oblivion is on there. It was scheduled for 2022. But if you look at everything on that list, everything got pushed back 2 years. So everything came out 2 years later. So we were anticipating last year that game coming out. But so that's not a YouTuber. Like, the YouTuber himself has nothing to do with the fact that Oblivion is being remade. Now, is it being remade in UE5, UE4, anything? I mean, obviously that's all up for debate. But the fact that we're getting a new Oblivion is fact. Like, that's just happening. So the question is, it was 22 on the sheet. Everything got pushed back 2 years. So we should have had it last year. And now it's clear. It looks like it got delayed because we're not getting it this year. So 2025 looks like the next logical step, right? And if it's dropping next year, then logically it would make sense to talk about it in the January Direct, right? Because that's, unless it's going to be the back half of the year, which I don't know if it's going to be in the back half. So this is not like oh my God, what a rumor. This is not going to be happening. Yeah, no, it's going to happen. It's just whether or not it is in fact this year, which I think it is. Especially that you brought up Elder Scrolls 6. It's clear that they're going to want to do as much practice when it comes to the Elder Scrolls series, right? So it would make sense in my mind to go ahead and create the game. Now, I don't know if UE5 would make sense because of the way that Bethesda games are and all the pickups and all that stuff. It might be going into the Starfield engine. It might be going to the new Bethesda engine. I don't know if Bethesda will drop a game in Unreal Engine 5. Like, logically, that doesn't make too much sense to me. Not that it's impossible, but just for me is not likely. But even still, if I can play Oblivion looking like Starfield, yeah, that's gonna be a happy day. If you don't know Oblivion, man, that's the OG. That was on 360. It was glorious. One of the most beautiful games ever when it came out. It is the start of the infamous horse armor DLC. They started microtransactions. They're the ones, you could blame them. So they started it. But yeah, man, open world, beautiful game, amazing story. Still remember the intro of it, how good that was. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So the fact that we're adding that game potentially, I don't know. Obviously, like I said, I know it's coming. It's just whether it got pushed back to 2025 or is it further, that we don't know. The fact that it's being rumored sounds good to me, right? It makes me gets me excited that we're actually going to go ahead and get it relatively soon. But man, if it does drop next year, the list just keeps like, come on, man. It's crazy the year that Game Pass subscribers are going to have, right? Game Pass is going to be crazy next year. Guys, the amount of first party Xbox games being dropped next year is legendary. All right. Just legendary, right? It's crazy. It's gonna be a year to remember next year if everything drops the way we're thinking. And again, that's just first party. Next year is also lining up to be a phenomenal year for third party day one drops. It finally looks like the year where everything from that we were waiting for with 33 Immortals that looks like it's going to drop. Replaced is looking like that's where it got pushed back to 2025. So Replaced is going to drop. The Expedition 33, which looks crazy, gonna drop. Adam Falls gonna drop, and there's so many more that I can't even remember off the top of my head. But just go back to some of the last showcases and you'll see just how much is happening third party wise, day and date in Game Pass. And now go ahead and add the fact that you look at all the first party releases. Again, Avowed starting the year, South of Midnight, Doom, Fable, obviously. Oh my God, that's I can't wait for that. And then Outer Worlds 2, Call of Duty, Towerborn.
Yes.
Dude, there's so many. There's so many games coming next year. I don't want to hear anything from these babies, bro. People are crying way too much. They're crying way too much. And it just exposes that you don't care about games as much as you pretend to do, right? Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're fighting over other things, ridiculous. More. It's just ridiculous, bro. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, listen, this is why a lot of the PlayStation dudes hide their trophies, because they play Twitter more than they play games. See, you can go to my account and see exactly what I've been doing. And the most time I spent on PlayStation this year was one of my favorite games. That was Astrobot. Over nearly 50 hours. And I make no qualms about enjoying every second of it. I had an absolute blast with it. But you can find what you can look at my trophies and see how many platinums I have. I think I have 6. Big deal. But again, at least I have the console. At least when there's a game that I like, I buy it. I support it. But as an Xbox fan, getting back to what leaked yesterday from Ecstasies, one of the caveats, C-Money, is that rumor Doom the Dark Ages is dropping in May. So think about this for a hot second. Think about this. You open up the 2025 campaign with your developer direct 3rd weekend, right? Everyone's now recovered from the holidays, and we're looking forward towards what 2025 is going to bring for us as gamers, right? Now, if you want to get specific and say Xbox gamers, I hear you. We can go that route. So as an Xbox gamer, you open up 2025 C-Money with this developer direct. Now, there's probably going to be 4 games. We know 2 of them, and again, it is a rumor that these 2 games, Oblivion Remake and Doom the Dark Ages, are going to be there. They're going to show off big. My assumption would be the other 2 would be South of Midnight to give us a release date, because obviously we're going to get some. They released it. Did anyone see on Twitter that small boss battle with two-toed the alligator? Wow, that looks dope AF.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's one of the games coming out next year, early next year, rumored to be March. So just imagine this for a second, folks, as Xbox peasants, as the PlayStation community likes to call us, right? Because we're peasants, right? We have welfare pass. Remember that? I remember it. So we open up the year with the direct in January. February, you get Avowed. February, March, of course, is the next month, 3rd month of the year. You could be getting South of Midnight. Then there's a bit of a lull. Now, is that lull going to be no games? No, I doubt it, because I think that next month is gonna hit for April. We don't know what's coming in April, but if the rumor comes to fruition, you have then Doom in May. Think about that for a second. That's how your year starts as an Xbox fan? Are you freaking kidding me? 3 bangers and a show to open up your year? What is anyone else doing? Like, how is Xbox dying, number one? And how can't you get hyped for that? See, I don't know, man.
I mean, you have to be hyped for it, because it's just, I mean, if you're into games. If you're not into games, then you're not going to be hyped for it, and you're going to spend your time crying on Twitter about the idea that somebody might be playing the same game that you're going to play at some point in the future. Like, that's just crazy. But that being said, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to show South of Midnight on the direct. And the reason I say that is because if they were going to do that, why drop the deep dive? They already did a developer direct. We sat with the developers. We watched them talk about the inspirations of the game, talk about everything that you could talk about. You're just going to run a trailer and give us a date? I don't think so. I think they did that on purpose. I think that's the reason why we got the Avowed deep dive and we got the South of Midnight.
That's a great thought.
I think we're not going to be in the show, bro. I think we're going to get other games. Remember, we talking about literally between 8 and 10 games coming from Microsoft first party next year. Like, that's not jokes. That's not me, making stuff up. I'm not pretending like the other people tend to do. This is reality. We already know these games are coming. We already know what games are coming in 2026. We already know some of the games are coming in 2027, right? So, like, understand, we're not the same, right? We're not the same.
I love when you say that. I love when you say that, because actually, it reminds me of Sesame Street. Like, these people are doing them and not the same.
Yeah, it's not right. We're not the same, but like understand we have so many that are coming that obviously they're not going to release them all on the back half of the year. That was last year's thing, not this year, right? They're already starting the year with Avowed, all that stuff. So we know these games are coming. So they have to spread it out somewhere. That's the only explanation I can have for why they would give us these deep dives early. Makes no other sense. Makes no other sense.
Not only are you, I think, hit it out of the park, but now I'm going to throw a third game into it. Could you imagine, and walk with me on this, folks, because the hype train is just about to leave the station. Walk with me. So the rumor is a remake from yesteryear done in Unreal Engine 5. Ridiculous if Oblivion comes out. Doom the Dark Ages, we got a chance to see it in June, and it was ridiculous. It looked amazing. That game is going to slap. But could you imagine if the third or fourth game, because usually they show 4 games, is Clockwork Revolution, bro? Could you imagine if InXile drops that trailer and it's actual full-on gameplay with them talking about it behind them, on top of Doom the Dark Ages, on top of an Oblivion remake, on top of everything we already know that's happening in 2025? Bro, it is going to be a laughing stock because there's no way Sony's going to be able to keep up with that. Like I said the other day, and like I said, I got the virtual tomatoes thrown. Sony's biggest games next year are from Xbox-owned studios. Let that sink in.
That wasn't tomatoes they were throwing at you, bro. Those were little bags that they collect all their tears with, and then they throw them at you, okay? Because they're throwing you their tears. It's sad for them. It's sad for them that they know that they're going to be spending an insane amount of money next year funding Xbox games. That's what they're going to do, and it's going to be glorious. And again, I do it because I don't know. I see them in the chat. It is just like the stupidity levels always rise. So clearly these people don't follow gaming when they talk about not knowing what games are coming in 2026 or 2027, right? Because if they knew and followed gaming, then they would know the name Perfect Dark. They would know the name State of Decay 3. They would know the name Gears E-Day. They would know Clockwork Revolution if it doesn't get announced for this year. They would know Forza Horizon 6. They would know the next hit. Like, get on our levels, fam. You just make yourself look stupid, dog. Just stop talking. How many times you got to get shut down? You know what I'm saying? Just stop talking and save yourself the embarrassment. You're not on the level that you think you are. You're talking to yourself.